Okay guys, I'll tell you what, if you could name 3 people on the planet that like this game, I will give you all $50. Oh no! Minecraft Dungeons is a dungeon crawler RPG released in 2020, and did anybody else forget this game came out? I mean, when the trailer first was released, people definitely were excited. A brand new game from the creators of Minecraft? I will gladly buy 4 copies. Minecraft Dungeons in its initial reveal trailer looked awesome. It looked fantastic. The gameplay seemed fresh and innovative. And best of all, it had a cute little illager at the end of the trailer. Mojang would then release a following trailer a couple months later, revealing the cinematic opening of the game, and yep, this was it. This game was looking out to be an epic adventure, utilizing the Minecraft world in an endless amount of ways. Then, when it came out, did anybody else remember when this came out? May of 2020. What else was happening during then? Oh. And for the start of such an epic month of amazing, stellar Danerade content, yeah, let's make a video on the Minecraft spin-off that everyone forgot about. Let me preface this by saying this is probably the most interesting game I have yet to review, just because of the fact of how weird it is. Like, I don't know how to feel about this game. It has so many conflicting design philosophies that I just don't know, man. Let's just start at the beginning of the game. What better way to start than with the opening cutscene I was talking about just a bit ago? Oh wait, we gotta sign in. Don't you go reading what my email address is.
Your current system language is selected by default. Press enter to continue. Current language is English. Option 1 out of 15, English. Use left mouse button to select option.
This game is weird. Now back to that intro.
Shunned by his kin, an illager wanders the land, seeking a new home. But all he found was hatred.
I kinda side with the illager here. Are the Minecraft villagers racist toward illagers? How does that torch stay lit while it's pouring rain outside? This whole dramatic unveiling is literally the same as Aladdin. Okay, I know I dog on this intro, but it really does a good job setting the atmosphere and stakes of the world. And you know me, I love this grand cinematic feeling, and this intro and the game for the most part have it as a theme. But as we are about to discuss in a bit, the game doesn't utilize its theming to its full potential. Also, this intro introduces us to the plot, and egad is it straight out of Super Mario Brothers. Bad guy gets powerful item. Stop the bad guy. It really doesn't get much deeper than that. I know they released a book explaining the lore in greater detail. What? Can you, after playing this game, explain what lore I am missing out on? Because from start to finish, there is no significant progression of the plot that really grips you in. This book existence seems like a big question mark to me. Or it could be another way to invigorate merchandising sales for this game by making up this grand story that is never actually explained in the base game, which means that some half-decent writer was instructed to write a story that Mojang could have done themselves. There's a Minecraft Dungeons arcade game, by the way. Okay, hear me out. But what if this story was like a National Treasure, an adventure film in the vein of Indiana Jones that uses a lot of codes and history to solve the movie's mystery? I think this structure would work really well for this game if each level unveiled a little bit more of the Arch-Illager's plan, or maybe we are trying to find his secret hiding place or something, which we are technically trying to do, but I guess expand on that more. Not just, oh, free the villagers and go fight this boss. Oh no, the Arch-Illager got away. I don't think it would be asking for too much, but anything is better than this. Also, in the books, it's revealed the Arch-Illager's name is Archie. Oh my gosh, that's my dog's name! In the vein of traditional Minecraft, you can customize your skin. What is not in the vein of traditional Minecraft is that you cannot upload your own custom skin. It's all EA's fault. This seems pretty backwards in my mind, especially when you play as the unnamed hero in an epic story-driven RPG. Wait, that's a lie, because there is no story. You'd think to feel more immersed as a player, you'd want to feel like the in-game avatar more, but no. I hope you like the pre-made options or shell out $6 for the DLC skins. It's EA's fault again. I went with good old Steve because Steve rhymes with conceive.
You were too late to rescue the villagers, but don't fret. They're still out there somewhere waiting for a hero to find them.
Wow, way to pity me, game. I didn't pay $20 to feel bad within the first 10 minutes. Also, traveling to camp. I'm already at camp. So the controls of this game on PC are equivalent to the Roadrunner dropping an anvil on Wile E. Coyote, in that it cannot be changed. Pure vengeance are you now. Unlike most games with the usual WASD, Mojang looked at Pop Tropica and said, hey, the kids who grew up with this game are probably like, in college and don't have time to play our mediocre spin-off, but let's base our controls on that game. So if you haven't caught on already, Minecraft Dungeons uses the mouse, and you control your little cursor and hold down the left click button, and that's where your barely customizable character will waddle on over to. This is fine. The gameplay shares very similar elements with other dungeon crawler type games like the Diablo series or Hades. The objective of each stage is to mow through all the enemies and find secrets and get out. Now, the number of mobs on the screen might also remind you of Hyrule Warriors. Not only can both frame rates chug on Switch, but they both also have that sort of turn off your brain type of gameplay. For your arsenal, you have 6 slots in total you can customize. A melee weapon, a long-ranged weapon, usually a bow or crossbow, and armor. These can be dropped from enemies or chests anywhere in levels. It is random on what power level they are. Because of this, we can conclude that killing an enemy is equivalent to a loot box. Both exhibit and tempt players into playing into the system while possibly getting a random item out of it. That means that Minecraft mobs like creepers and skeletons will have to confront US government officials on why the federal government shouldn't pass legislation to ban loot boxes, as banning loot boxes would ban them. Loot boxes have already been banned in other countries. Do you know what other countries specifically? The Netherlands. Like the Nether? Yes. The Nether houses all of hell's worst creations. Gas, blazes, communist Russia, a hello neighbor, and worst of all, loot boxes. Which, with all of this being said, we can conclude that Minecraft Dungeons will be banned because it is entirely a gambling scheme. Each item has a power level attached to them, and the higher the level, the better the effects and stats are. Now on the bottom here are what in all honesty is like your spells category. I really like this customization since you can really mix and match to find a set of items that will be able to aid you the most in battle. This firework arrow was a personal favorite of mine because I felt like I was killing people with an expensive illegal toy. Different drops hold even more variables though. As your main arsenal, your weapons and armor can be enchanted. This is a certain element of Minecraft I am very happy to see return in some form. You can enchant your weapons and armor, except for this time, the specific enchantments are baked into the item in question. In that when you pick something up, the possibilities of what enchantments the item has been predetermined. You enchant items using the enchantment points you get, and those points come from each level you receive. Leveling up just comes from defeating and vanquishing enemies. If you want to get your enchantment points back, you have to salvage the weapon. Doing this will give you the enchantment points back, but at the cost of permanently destroying the item in question. Hot take right here, but I kinda like this system. It encourages risk and reward and makes you not hoard all of the weapons you get. Sometimes we had to get rid of certain weapons we had used a lot or liked, and that's part of a game's progression. Minecraft has never really been known for its visual fidelity. Yes, it is unique, but it doesn't have any advanced lighting techniques or high poly counts, unless you're playing Super Minecraft RTX 290 billion. While Minecraft Dungeons still doesn't have the latter, Dungeons' visuals are a major strong suit of the game. The animations and lighting are great. The opening cutscene is animated very well, and just look at the gift wrapping villager. Oh! The base game is split up into 9 different missions, and many of those missions have optional secret missions that usually reuse some of the themes and ideas of the biomes they are based on. These secret missions can be accessed and unlocked within other missions, which then after completing said mission, Christ, I've said mission like 6 times, it will appear on the map screen. These missions usually have a higher emphasis on treasure, which means there's plenty of secrets to be had. That's another thing this game excels and fails at. The secrets. Scattered all about the world are a wealth of hidden pathways that can lead to better loot, and a handful of them are tricky to find. Other than secrets, these missions have nothing in them. They suck. I've said this before, but the levels are laid out in a linear start to finish system. Kill all the enemies, die, have the narrator pity you again, and get out. But that's the problem. These levels just don't have much going on in them. They all kind of blend together in my mind. Like, except for the stages theming of, let's say, swamp and desert. What do these stages have that is severely different from one another? Well, the desert stage has booby traps, and the volcano stage has lava that if you touch it, then you will start to take damage. Ow, boo-boo. I'm really trying, guys, I swear. The Redstone Mine stage has minecarts that upon contact literally gives you a punch to the gut. It's a minecart, for crying out loud. This isn't Steve's side B in Smash Brothers. Let's do this.
Got it! And ask them to name a way of toasting someone.
Over a fire.
Pa, 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 pa.
bosses aren't really anything to write home about in my opinion. Evoker, Redstone Golem, Enderman. These are mini bosses, and just like Boom Boom in New Super Mario Bros. U, they are totally comfortable reusing them time and time again. For actual mission-oriented bosses, well, they aren't much better. Sentient Cauldron, I want to know who approved that at Mojang. Oh, and I also found a way to cheese the Sentient Cauldron fight, so just another way to hate it even more. Here's something I would have really appreciated. What if we got some different completion objectives, like in Mario and Rabbids? Now, I get it that I keep comparing this game to other games, and you might argue that this is not this. But the reason I make comparisons like this isn't because I expect Nintendo A-grade polish on these games, but it's simply the mechanics and ideas I can best compare or attribute to what I am thinking. Does that make sense? No? Well, I hope so. Anyways, most of the game is a simple defeat all the enemies. Occasionally, they throw in other objectives like defeating all the enemies within a certain time limit, or maybe even escorting a Toad mission. While not my favorite by any means, I undeniably respect these inclusions for keeping the gameplay fresh. Minecraft Dungeons, on the other hand, seems to have a hard time keeping things fresh and exciting for the player. For one, the main campaign is only about 4 hours long, which is incredibly short. My initial playthrough was longer though, since I was trying to go for 100% completion. It really wasn't 100% completion, more that I wanted all the unlockable rewards from each level. Then I'd get a check mark indicating the entire contents of the level have been completed. You know, a dopamine boost. But to do this, you have to replay the level, and even then, you aren't guaranteed you'll get the specific item you want, so then you have to replay it again and again until you unlock everything, which means I was typically replaying levels constantly. So then when I beat the game, what does the game want me to do? Play it again! I have yet to mention this, but the game has a toggleable difficulty, and you can choose when going into a level how difficult it is. The higher the difficulty, the better the rewards are. Risk versus reward, pretty standard setup. So what ended up happening in my playthrough is that the first half of the game was decently fun. It was challenging, but the only reason I felt that way was that I toggled on the highest possible difficulty setting the game would allow me on the first level. Now, I've said this on more than one occasion, but I like hard games. I found a lot of joy in well-designed, challenging video games. But the only enjoyment I can squeeze out of Minecraft Dungeons is cranking up the difficulty at a really high setting. I tried playing the game on what it had considered a normal difficulty, and it was a bore fest. It's just a mindless hack and slash. You kill everything in 1 or 2 swings, so why even put any mental energy into it? I remained content with the difficulty up until halfway through the game, until the max difficulty became easy and boring. This is because what is considered normal difficulty is determined by your power level. As a reminder, your power level is determined by the item drops you get and their power level. But because I was replaying levels so much to 100% each level, my power level was gradually increasing at a fast rate to where when I played the final level, I could only play on what the game had calculated would be normal difficulty. This consequently made me kill the first phase of the final boss in about 15 seconds. Then after beating the game, what does the game give you? The same exact campaign, but at an even harder difficulty. This means that the game is back to its fun state where it is once again challenging. This is achieved by throwing in more powerful enemies that can have different enchantments that make them even harder. But when I really sat down and thought about it, why am I playing this game? The whole point of selecting a higher difficulty is to gain better rewards. But when I gain better loot, my power level goes up at a fast rate. This means that the levels become easy again so much faster. But the only way I get enjoyment is when the missions are at what the game considers such a high difficulty level. So why should I keep playing if all I am leading up to is for boredom? The cycle basically repeats. I replay the game, I become OP, I beat the final boss again, and what does the game want me to do? Why, it gives me the option to replay the entire game again, but at an even harder difficulty. Okay, the idea of difficulty is completely arbitrary because all the developers are doing is coding a different set of attack power and health values to each mob to create artificial difficulty. This is undeniably Minecraft Dungeons' biggest game design flaw. Its inherent structure demotivates me from playing because its definition of normal difficulty does not correlate to me wanting for a more challenging experience. And if I pursue a more challenging playthrough, all it will do is lead me faster into boredom. Now I get it, you're probably gonna mention this is how a lot of other RPGs are structured. You get stronger, and eventually you will become so overpowered to where the game is done. You've completed everything. I suppose I wouldn't mind this so much if it weren't weren't for Minecraft Dungeons' lean on its gameplay. The story sucks. The game doesn't have any strong themes or ideas of its own. This means the main draw of the game has to be the gameplay, but it's not at all deep or complex. I find most of the time I'm spamming the left mouse click button as Steve Harvey shames me while I play. What? What does that even mean? What? You might occasionally click another button if you want to, I don't know, to do something a little different. All in all though, this game is boring. This game is safe. This game is purely driven by name recognition. Do you know how many copies this game sold? Nearly 12 million, which shouldn't come as a surprise of course, but being the first in-house made spin-off to the best-selling game of all time, you think they do more with the property. This game barely uses the Minecraft IP in any fun or creative way. And even then, that's the whole draw of the game. It's Diablo Minecraft. There is zero mining or crafting in this game. It's in the name of the freaking game. It's based on Minecraft. And you just don't do anything with it. Now, mining I get, but crafting? You're telling me you couldn't incorporate a system where I could craft my own armor and weapons? But no, get that out of here. We gotta do our own stupid little thing. Ugh, this game hurts my brain. On the one hand, you have a competent video game based on the best-selling game in the world with gorgeous visuals, great sound design. It runs pretty smoothly on PC. You just can't tell because stupid Danerade recorded all of his footage at 30 FPS. A charming world, a cute antagonist. Then on the other hand, we have an underwhelming, boring, safe, hack and slash type of a dungeon crawler that barely uses its namesake very well. Do you see why this game is so confusing in my mind? Because calling this game bad would just be wrong. Minecraft Dungeons is kind of a mess of ideas. It doesn't really commit to being anything really. Its presentation is nice, but the gameplay and fundamental structure fails to stand on its own. I really want to know what you guys think of this game. I've heard a lot of conflicting opinions, which I suppose is to be expected. Heck, I had conflicting thoughts and ideas. If you want to try the game out for yourself, Mojang finally released the game on Steam with all the DLC in one package. And honestly, for $40, the base game and the DLC doesn't seem like an awful price to me. The base game is $20, which isn't a super high asking price, yet the lack of content might deter you away. This has been week 1 of Danerade month, and next week's topic will be on... Wow, okay, Danerade, original are we now?